There's a few. There's a realize it yet. Yeah, I saw them Healey.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. On behalf of the entire Somerville community, it's an honor to welcome Governor Healey, Secretary Tibbet-Nuts, and General Manager Eng. Thank you all for your leadership and working in true partnership with our cities and towns. I'd also like to acknowledge some of our electeds that are with us today: Senator Pat Jalen, Representative Christine Barber, Representative Erica Eiderhoven, and Representative Mike Conley. So Somerville, we've understood for a long time that investing in transportation infrastructure isn't just about tracks and tunnels and roads or bridges. It's about people. It's about the nurse commuting to the early shift, the students heading to class, the small business owners relying on transit to bring customers through the door. Every investment in our transportation system is an investment in our daily lives and opportunities of our residents. For years, Somerville has fought for transit improvements, whether securing the Green Line extension or pushing for safer and more reliable bus and rail service. We know firsthand that transformative power of strong public transit. It connects our communities, drives our economic growth, and builds more sustainable future. The $8 billion investment that Governor Healey and her administration are making in the Commonwealth's transportation system will help stabilize and enhance the MBTA, ensuring safer, more reliable service that our residents and the entire region can depend on. These investments aren't just about fixing what's broken. They're about building a system that truly serves the people who rely on it every day. As mayor, I can already report that we're feeling the positive impacts of this investment. For example, here in Somerville, our residents, workers, and visitors have shared back great feedback on the first phase on the MBTA bus network redesign. The new high-frequency Route 109 connecting us with Everett and Cambridge is making a real difference. This would not have been possible without the Healey-Driscoll administration's landmark investment in the MBTA workforce. But while these state investments are critical, municipalities also have a key role to play in making the most of these historic commitments. I'm proud that Somerville has partnered with the MBTA to introduce dedicated bus lanes, traffic signal upgrades, and in-lane bus stops that help keep buses moving efficiently and get riders where they need to go faster. I also want to recognize that many other cities and towns that have taken bold steps to support safe, reliable public transit. These local efforts make a difference, and they help maximize the impact of local investments. At the end of the day, transit is about access to jobs, access to education, to healthcare, and to opportunity. That's why investments like these matter. They don't just improve our transportation system, they make our community stronger and our future more sustainable. Thank you, Governor Healey, Secretary Tibbet-Nuts, General Manager Eng, for your leadership and commitment to keeping Massachusetts moving, and Somerville. Somerville will continue to be a partner in your work because we know firsthand how transformational strong transit can be. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Mayor, for welcoming us to Somerville, to Secretary Tibbets-Nutt, GM Eng, members of the legislature who are here. Really great to be with everybody. I also want to shout out members of our board, Tom McGee, Chair, and Bobby Butler, all the workers and folks who are represented here. We've got a lot of folks and unions doing the work day in and day out. I just had a chance to walk back and thank them for the work they do because they're making a huge difference, and I really appreciate it. The work that's done here at this location, a lot of work servicing commuter rail trains, but work that's happening in yards all around the Commonwealth to make sure that our T and our commuter rail are operating the very best that they can be. And so, I want to thank the machinists, the electricians, carmen and cleaners, boilermakers, laborers, sheet metal workers, clerks, foremen, and supervisors, among others. Shout out also to Frank Callahan of the building trades, Keith Petrie and John Clark for joining us today. We have Joe Rummery, Joe English, David Stevenson, Dan Clement, all of our partners at the MBTA and Keolis, including Abdallah Shahai, the CEO, and John Colleen, VP of Asset Management. I also want to thank Shonda Smart and Joe Began for being here, as well as MBTA and Mass.DOT board members alongside Tom and Bob. So let me just tell you what's happening, okay? We've made real strides in transportation in just the last couple of years. Our ridership percentage increases over the last 2 years have been remarkable. Combined, we are running 50% more trains, okay, on lines through the commuter rail and through the T. And that's a big deal. That's more rides, more people getting to where they need to be, more people getting to where they need to be on time. And it's taken this kind of effort and investment and manpower to get it done. And we're not going to stop with where we are, which is why we're proposing $8 billion over the next 10 years. We're not going to raise any taxes to do it. We're making smart use of existing funding that we have and leveraging that to access capital to get us the money that we need to fix roads and bridges around this state, to improve transportation infrastructure, to stabilize for the first time the T and get it on solid financial footing, and to continue to bring on board improvements to the commuter rail and to the T. So basically, that's what this is about. We can get you more of the specific numbers, but that's what's going on here. Commuter rail alone, we are back to pre-pandemic ridership, and we got there faster than any other system in the country. And that's because of smart ideas like adding more trips at the right time of day to attract more riders. It's a testament to the skill and the dedication of our workers here in Somerville and across the system. I just got a tour back there. This building, this is the Boston Engine Terminal. It's been around since the late 1800s, if you can believe it. And we were first, but our goal is always to be best, okay? And It's a system that needs maintenance, it needs upgrades, it needs modernization, and it needs investment. And that's part of what we're here to talk about as well. I want you to know that I remain laser focused on lowering costs and improving the quality of life for our residents. And that includes making sure that people are saving time and able to get where they need to go faster using our public transportation. We know that for far too long, our transportation systems were mismanaged and they were underinvested in. And we were a team that came in and said, we're not going to kick the can on that any longer. So we went big on transportation. We went big on transportation. And with Phil's leadership and the investments that we've made, which included growing the workforce so we could actually get the work done, we've gotten rid of slow zones for the first time in 20 years. Speeds are improving, frequencies are up, more cars are actually in production. We've got that contactless pay to speed people through. It's also the case we've got the first ever system-wide low-income fare discount up and running, and ridership is up, customer satisfaction is improved. And maybe for the first time in a long time, if ever in my lifetime, riders can have confidence in public transportation. We're working to grow that confidence every single day. And one of the things we're going to do is build on what we know is working. And that is why I announced a plan to make a historic investment in transportation in this state. I outlined what that's about. Again, $8 billion over the next 10 years. Imagine what we can do and the kind of transportation and service we can deliver to people, to businesses, to everyone in this state. What I see at this facility are people, skilled workers working really hard. They've dug in, we've set a goal, we've set a mark for where we want to be, and I want to thank everybody for bringing it every single day. That's what we're going to need. And we know what we were able to do the last 18 months. Imagine what we can do just over the next few years with everybody working together and with the resources at hand. So thank you for all that, and I'd now like to bring up our Secretary of Transportation, Monica Tibbetts-Nutt.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you to this administration making this possible. Because of them, we're actually making real progress. We're improving service, we're strengthening reliability, and building a public transit system that is accessible and resilient. It's an exciting day to be here at this rail yard because we're here to talk about that investment. Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll have made it clear transportation is a priority, and their budget proposal backs that commitment. The House 1 budget builds on last year's historic investment. It proposes $3.2 billion in transportation funding with a strong focus of giving the T back on track. We are already seeing progress. Slow zones are being lifted. Speed enhancements are coming soon to the red and orange line, and this budget dedicates $1.4 billion towards critical investments. New commuter rail coaches, red and orange line car replacements, accessibility and resilience upgrades at our stations, track and power system improvements. These investments will stabilize MBTA operations while also maintaining and expanding the services that all of our communities rely on. But we know transportation in Massachusetts is about more than just the T. This budget also expands mobility and accessibility statewide. This is being done by dedicating $67 million to MBTA's income-eligible reduced fare program, $13 million for the Sumner Tunnel mitigation, $10 million for microtransit and last-mile innovation grants. And beyond transit, we're ensuring that our roads and our bridges are built for the future. Over the next 5 years, this budget delivers $1.5 billion in Chapter 90 reforms. This is supporting road improvements, our rural communities, and culvert repairs. $1.5 billion for road and bridge life cycle asset management program that is going to ensure that these infrastructure investments stay in good condition. Over $600 million for mass.gov operations so our roads, our bridges, and transit systems are maintained and reliable. In total, this represents an $8 billion investment over the next decade. This is going to ensure that every one of our 351 cities and towns are going to benefit from a stronger, safer, and more resilient transportation system. We are incredibly lucky and grateful for the leadership of Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. This is focused on dedication to providing genuine transportation solutions that makes all of our lives better every single day. And we are just getting started. We'll be traveling across the state to highlight how these investments are making a difference in every single one of our communities. I look forward to working together with our communities, with our elected officials, to build a transportation system that works for everyone, independent of what mode you're using. I want to just say to the communities, thank you for partnering with us in this endeavor. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the man who is leading this transit transformation, General Manager Phil Ng.
Thank you, Secretary. And thank you, Mayor Ballantyne, for hosting us here in Somerville. Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Secretary Tibbetts Nutt, delegation members, MBTA Board of Directors, and especially our workforce and Keola's workforce for allowing us to gather here today to celebrate this exciting investment that puts transportation back into everything that we do every day for us. You know, this administration has from day one focused on transportation, and any general manager across the country would be envious of the support and leadership that I've gotten. Thank you, Governor Healey, for that leadership. The $8 billion investment, it's going to have a ripple effect throughout the Commonwealth. It's going to allow us to continue to build on the successes that we've done to date. It's going to allow us to continue to maintain and continue to improve how our workforce delivers safe, reliable, more robust service day in and day out. And that's our commitment to continuing to focus on not only what we've done in the past, but how do we keep getting better every day. The new funding proposal, the T will see our operating budget significantly raised again to $687 million in fiscal year 26. This is a pivotal point in time for us. Under this administration, as the governor said, we have increased across all of our modes the number of trips that we're running every day. So not only are our schedules more reliable, not only are our trips shorter, but we're running more trains. That means the wait times are shorter. All of this amounts to an improved daily commute or daily travel just for fun. On weekends, commuter rail is the most robust across the country. Over 200% return to ridership in some corridors. On the weekdays, it's leading the nation in return to ridership as well. And that's because of our commitment to on-time, improved service, all-day schedules. Commitment to the workforce is allowing us to look at how do we improve and even deliver more trains every day, more buses, more ferries, more power transit trips. All of these go hand in hand with a sound transportation network. We're continuing to buy rolling stock. The red line, orange line cars continue to be delivered. They continue to perform, and they continue to help us eliminate and mitigate previous delays that once existed with our road fleet. On the commuter rail side, we have all 83 of our original order of bi-level coaches. The funding that we've received to date has allowed us now to enter into the next one, which is important because exercising that option allows us again to look at how do we build more transportation frequency across the network. The governor talked about income eligible, first time ever, all modes, 50%. 21,000 applicants have been approved and enrolled in this program. That's a huge thing to allow people who need to use the system, maybe couldn't have afforded the system, to be able to use it now. And we're really excited about continuing to promote that and get more people enrolled. How do we communicate with people? The MBTA Go app, it's been released. It was first on the iPhones, now it's on Droids. We have over 67,000 people who've downloaded the app. I use it all the time to actually take a look at if I'm making trips, do I need to go now or can I wait a few minutes? But the key is it allows you the ability to plan your trip, to know that if you have multiple seats, you can actually shorten your trip by taking and using that communication device that we have had. Phase 1 of the bus network redesign, that was implemented. The mayor talked about the 109 bus. I remember taking it just last weekend when I got off at Sullivan and got on 109. And knowing that that bus is running every 15 minutes now, what an amazing feeling to be able to make those connections and use all the modes that we have, because that's how transportation serves everyone. It's not just the roads and bridges, which are important, but it's also the mass transportation network that allows it to go along and complement one another. And that's why the investment of this proposal about transportation, not just the T, but across the Commonwealth for all the agency providers, is so big. Everyone's talked about the track improvement program. The ability for this funding, this proposed funding, to allow us to continue to focus on our infrastructure needs, on our track needs, on our signal needs, power. All of these things, now we do not have to be worried about how do we survive. The stability that this program has given us will allow us to get more efficient, allow us to get better, because I know we can. We've continued to do that every day as we focus on our workforce, but we focus on the public that we serve. This investment from the Healey-Driscoll administration will help us to keep modernizing. It's going to keep the system more accessible as we continue to do station work, not only in our subways, but in a commuter rail service. And we're going to give people back valuable time of their day. This year, we're increasing accessibility at many stations. We're in the process of making historic accessibility improvements with over 30 station upgrades underway, ensuring that we can better serve all those people that need and want to use our system. This month alone, we're upgrading 3 commuter rail stations with the mini-high platforms, an innovative way that we thought outside the box to be able to deliver more accessibility, even with limited dollars in our previous program. But the intent is to continue using creative outside-the-box thinking to deliver meaningful results. So anyone who wants to use our system can, including others who need to bring strollers with children, bringing bikes. The ability to board on level platforms is immense. We're going to continue to work with the improved service and the workforce that delivers that service. Since the start of the Healey-Driscoll administration, we've hired more than 1,900 employees. That is huge because we were struggling before. We had limited resources, but not only are we hiring more people, we're training them differently, we're teaching them differently, and we're becoming more efficient and more effective on how we deliver service and how we focus on our system. Just here today, seeing all the work that needs to go in place every day on our locomotives, on our coaches. The ability to do that, timely maintenance, timely corrective repairs, it's what facilitates the ability to deliver robust service. So again, I want to personally thank the Healey-Driscoll administration, the legislature, the MBTA board of directors, our workforce, and the public for believing in us, to giving us the resources that allows us to continue to deliver transportation services across the Commonwealth. On behalf of the entire MBTA, we're excited to deliver a world-class transportation system for the future and for today's needs. The best is yet to come. I'll turn the podium back to Governor Healey, and if we could ask that the on-topic questions, please.
Great. Thanks, Phil. You know, not for nothing, we put in place a GM who's an actual engineer, and you see the difference that it makes. And to top that, or along with that, we have Ryan Cahalan, who is the Chief Operating Officer at the T. And we just took a tour. Here's what's something cool about that. He's also a licensed operator. He drove himself home the other night to Barnstable on a train. Why does that matter? Because these guys share a lived experience with riders around this state. And I just want people to know that. And that's part of the reason that we've been able to get things done. Because we've got people in charge of stuff who support the workforce, who listen to the workforce, and are coming up with ideas about how we can improve things and make things better. So I just want to thank everybody on the entire team. Any questions on topic?
Governor, the affiliate relies on funds from the fair share of funds. Was there any consideration changing that allotment, given the uncertainty we have about the Department of Education, how it can affect people like Massachusetts?
No, not at this time. I think it's the right investment. I mean, to me, what I hear loud and clear from people is they want lower costs. That's why we cut taxes a couple years ago. It's why we're looking every which way to lower people's costs. The other things that are absolutely critical for everyday residents and for the economic success of the state are building more housing, right, and lowering costs there, and building the kick-ass transportation system statewide that we need. These are smart investments. These are important investments. They're long overdue investments, and we're going to stick to the plan in terms of the what I think is a smart use of that revenue.
So, everything's so rosy. Why is it that when there's an accident like yesterday, we talked to T-riders, they're not even mad anymore at this point. They just shake their head and say, that's the T. They've come to expect, unfortunately, the worst. Is that the long road back, or are we not, the metrics making it more rosy than it really is?
I think that customer satisfaction is way up. I'm going to let the GM speak to that. And you see that in the surveys that we get back, and it's evident by the fact that more people are riding the T and more people are riding the commuter rail. Wherever there is an issue, like an accident, we're right on it, and Phil and the team are right on it, getting to the bottom of it and addressing that, and we will continue to be.
Sure. From day one, we've been focused on ensuring safety. We've been focused on our workforce in terms of being able to deliver safe, reliable service. What we're seeing to date over the last 2 years is that we are minimizing and eliminating those types of incidents that we did have yesterday, and they're going to be fewer and further apart, right? This is a type of thing where we tackle the things that are causing the most delays, and we eliminate those. Right now, if you take a look at the on-time performance of our green line, it is tremendous. The orange line is extremely well too, because we've eliminated the old cars, right? All orange line cars are new. We know red line can be even better as we continue to replace those. But we're focused on our workforce, and an incident like yesterday, we're going to continue to work with them on different things of how we perform work, how we deliver service. I'm glad yesterday's was a minor incident where nobody got hurt, but that's the importance of why we're continuing to focus on our workforce, training, tools of the trade, all the proper equipment, modern equipment. This is all part of rebuilding the older subway system, but turning us into best in class.
And yesterday, was there a reason it was not described as a collision, but as a hitching up? It's kind of weird.
Well,
It's almost playing.
it actually did hitch up. The train rolled 3 feet. The investigation's still ongoing. Technically, per FTA rules, it's deemed a collision, but they literally, if we intended to connect the 2 trains together, that's what happened. It rolled 3 feet, the 2 couplers tied, and they were connected. Again, I'm glad no one was injured. The team is still investigating all of this, and we're doing, as we do with any incident, a hot wash, because we want to learn from these incidents, and we want to continue to make sure if there's any rules and procedures in place, we improve them to allow the operators, the workforce, to be able to make those timely decisions in the right manner.
Governor, you have an $8 billion investment, $1.4 billion just for the MBTA. Ridership is up, cars are up, satisfaction you're saying is up, but just to elaborate on that question, what we're hearing from riders is that they want to know that you guys know what's happening on the train every single day, which is delays and issues like last night and what happened here in Somerville last month with a collision, 5 people sent to the hospital. Can you speak directly to riders right now who don't see $8 billion?
Well, that's because it's a plan that I've advanced. So that's not in operation yet. But just over the last couple of years, this administration has directed serious dollars and investment in the personnel and in the work to make things better. As governor, I got to tell you, I inherited a really lousy situation when it came to the way the T was working, or really not working, in this state. And there are a lot of things that should have been done in administrations prior to mine that weren't. And what I decided is I'm going to go out and hire the very best people at the top to run things, let them advise me and tell me what needs to happen. And you've seen the results. Is it where we want to be? No, where we want to be is what we've laid out in that plan, $8 billion over 10 years. It covers the whole state. It's T, commuter rail, our regional transit authorities. It's roads and bridges. So we're not there yet. But what I want people to know is I take transportation really seriously. You got to be able to get to where you need to go. And you got to be able to do that on time, with predictability, with reliability, and we got to make it more affordable for people. So we are taking steps every day on all of those fronts. We're not going to get there overnight, but I think directionally we've shown that we can put points on the board. We've made improvements. while we continue to work towards the first-class public transit system that we need to see. I can tell you personally, whenever something happens, whenever there's an accident or a collision, I immediately hear from Phil. And Phil's team is immediately on the scene, identifying what happened and making changes to address that. And that's the kind of seriousness, on the job attitude that people in this organization bring to things. That's why I am not trying to be rosy, Dan, but I'm trying to be positive and optimistic, actually accurate, I think, about where we're going directionally, you know, for people in this state. Just like we got to build more homes and lower housing costs, we got to fix transportation so that people are able to get to where they need to go, so that our businesses are able to get their workers to where they need to go. It's not going to happen overnight, but I'm proud of the work, and I'm glad that we actually started on it. And I think this proposal, $8 billion over the next 10 years, again, to the riding public, this is no new taxes, okay? This is just making smart use of existing capital and being able to leverage what we've got. That's never been done before. Never been done before. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. And I know that we can do it using the formula that we've got today, okay?
Last question.
Your plan does call for using $1.2 billion in grant anticipation notes to borrow against future federal highway grant funds. Is there any concern that you'll have to reshuffle the $8 billion plan to come up with another $1.2 billion if our federal partners are not there?
Yeah, I continue to hope for federal partnership. You know, people got to realize federal funding is incredibly important to states all over this country for any number of things. For healthcare, look at Medicaid, for transportation and infrastructure. So we're going to continue to hope that the monies that have been already obligated are delivered to the state, and we'll continue to evaluate things. But I think we put forward a really smart and sensible plan, and it is my hope that the federal administration won't take away transportation funding, because it's not a red state, blue state issue. It affects the quality of life and livelihood of everyone around this country. You know, we all want safe roads and bridges. You know, it's absolutely necessary. So we're going to continue to push for that.
Thanks, everyone.
You're confident those grants
Yep.
will be there to borrow against?
As of right now, yeah. You know, I mean, again, I think transportation is such a core infrastructure funding that all states and all governors join in supporting and advocating for. I think it would be a really foolish and dumb thing to do, to take away needed infrastructure funding for projects around this country that are so important. But we're going to continue to monitor everything. Again, thanks for being here.